What's up, y'all? And welcome back to The Quiet Loud with me, DeAntony Collins. Normally, this is the part of the show where we kick things off with a little levity, the trending whisper, where we laugh at memes, side-eye viral chaos, and just vibe together before diving into some heavier stuff. But today, I need to ask for your grace because this episode is different. The news is heavy, the stakes are high, and it doesn't feel right to treat this moment like just another day on the timeline. So, for this episode, I'm setting aside the trending whisper. No viral TikToks, no memes, no goofy stories. Instead, I want to talk directly to you about something that cuts right to the heart of who we are as a country. I promise this won't just be doom and gloom. It'll be honest, passionate, and rooted in both compassion and conviction, because that is what The Quiet Loud is all about. So settle in and let's get to it. I firmly believe that political violence has no place in democracy. None. Full stop. And yet, here we go again. So let's talk it out. When Gabrielle Giffords was shot in 2011, what did we get? We got thoughts and prayers. When Paul Pelosi was nearly beaten to death with a hammer inside his own home, they made jokes about it on late night Fox News. When a militia plotted to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer in 2020, lies, deflection, and shoulder shrugs from the right. And just this summer, June 14th, 2025, Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were killed in their home in a politically motivated attack. While that same morning, State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette were shot and wounded. And where was the President of the United States? I can tell you he didn't even pick up the phone to call Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz to share condolences or offer support. Instead, what do we get? We got MAGA talking heads like Steve Bannon, Jesse Waters, and the whole crew declaring war on the left. They demonize Democrats as enemies of the state, and before investigators even named the suspect in Charlie Kirk's assassination, they blamed Democrats, liberals, hell, anyone they felt like vilifying this week. Well, now, we are beginning to know the truth. Authorities have confirmed a suspect is in custody. And what do we know about him? We know that he comes from a family full of Trump supporters. We know his grandmother even admitted to reporters that, quote, "We don't even know any Democrats." That phony theory has now been busted. But even as their narrative collapses, MAGA Republicans are now shifting their prayers to the shooter because he was one of their own. I want you to let that sink in. Representatives like Nancy Mace were out immediately talking about how Democrats own this, the left own this, that the shooter was, excuse my words, this was her lingo, not mine. The shooter was a tranny. Come on, man. What they're doing now, this isn't even about lowering the temperature. This is about using every tragedy as kindling to stoke the flames of a culture war. The same way they did after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump at his Pennsylvania rally last summer. Now, let me be clear. The assassination attempt was real. But I don't believe, and I am not alone in this thought, that he was actually shot. We've seen no photos, heard from no doctors who've actually examined him, zero evidence. And if Trump had so much as a scratch, you know he would have blasted it out on Truth Social like it was his own personal moon landing. But from Trump down through the MAGA line, the rhetoric is incendiary. They use words as weapons, aiming stochastic terror at judges, elected officials, candidates, and anyone who dares oppose them. And then they clutch their pearls when one of their own is gunned down. Now hear me clearly. I condemn political violence in all forms. I'm a husband, a father, a black man raising a family in America. This scares me. It shakes me. Charlie Kirk's murder was bracing, and my heart goes out to his family, but let's not pretend that he didn't spend his life weaponizing rhetoric to vilify and other people that were unlike him. He lived by that sword, and unfortunately he died by it. But that doesn't justify it. It just makes it all the more tragic. And my fear, my very real fear, is that MAGA will seize this moment, not to reflect, but to march us closer to the Civil War drumbeat that they've been cadencing since before Trump came down that escalator. Hell, since before the Tea Party morphed into the so-called Freedom Caucus. Remember, Barack Obama, Our first black president needed Secret Service protection 2 years before the 2008 election, the earliest ever for a candidate. And that's due to the violent, racist rhetoric and threats. That's where this started. And here's where it's led. Children dying in classrooms, people of faith dying in churches, families being torn apart in their homes, all while Republicans send thoughts and prayers and cash their NRA checks. But the moment one man who trafficked in hateful rhetoric is shot, suddenly it's war with the Democrats? No. The real war we need is against the use of weapons of war in civilian life. Sniper rifles, assault-style rifles, automatic weapons, they don't belong in our neighborhoods, our schools, or our streets. If you want to shoot one, join the military. They'll give you one for free. Or you can go and check one out at a firing range where it's safe. But as long as Republicans stay addicted to the gun dollar, nothing will change. And people will just keep dying. So let's make sure the responsibility stays exactly where it belongs. This is on you, MAGA. This is your fault. You own it. And we are never going to let you forget it. All right, I'm going to hop down off my soapbox, but I want to thank you for sitting with me on this one. I know it was heavy, but sometimes, family, the most important conversations are the heaviest. But if this resonated with you, if you believe in democracy in our country, in our civil rights, in calling out hypocrisy wherever it hides, then please help spread this message. Subscribe, follow, drop a 5-star review to help this community grow. Share the episode with somebody who needs to hear it, because somebody needs to hear it. Because The Quiet Loud is more than just a podcast. It's a movement. It's our movement. So until next time, please stay safe, stay loud, and stay true. I'm DeAntony Collins, and this has been The Quiet Loud.